Now, welcome back. This is Naboo and Thor Skywalker for a spoiler review of Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Hello there.
Hello there to you too. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna talk spoilers about Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which we saw a couple weeks ago. We kind of let it marinate, and we're gonna say it was on purpose.
Yes.
All right, so opening thoughts. What did you think of the movie?
Um, I actually really enjoyed it. I know a lot of critics have been panning the movie,
They have been.
which is very unfortunate. I know it hasn't really done
I heard
extremely well at the box
yeah.
office either, which is disappointing. But I thought it was entertaining, highly entertaining.
I heard critics complain too many humans, then critics complain too many monsters. I'm going, what are you doing?
Well, the first Godzilla did have a bit much on the human side, and this one did too. But as you pointed out, like if you watch the old Godzilla movies, there's always a human element or human story to it. So it's
Right,
not. This
it's
wasn't completely unprecedented or.
because you can't have a giant monster without knowing how
Well, yeah,
that
you need.
affects actual humans.
Yeah, you need the people there to give you the narrative of what's going on around the monsters. You can't
Well,
just have
yeah.
monsters fighting on screen for 2 hours. It would be kind of cool, but it would get a little old.
Well, and as a human,
Lies.
it's kind of interesting to see the perspective of what are the humans doing when this is happening. This is something that almost seems out of human control.
Yeah. That's kind of what I enjoy about it. It's like the humans are just trying to deal with, the unimaginable. That's something that's beyond even dealing with.
Exactly. All right, now I want to move on to my favorite section, the score.
Score was great. Yeah,
Oh my!
I know you freaked out when the
I did freak out. I freaked out a
when the
couple of
original
times listening to
Godzilla
it.
music popped on. I'm not
Oh,
as
the original Mothra music was there. Kind of the original Godzilla theme was there.
I mean, I'm not as big into Godzilla as I've seen a lot of the old ones over the years, but when I know you and your dad enjoyed it, but when that music came on, you're slapping my arm like, hey, you hear that? It's like, well, yeah, it's music. Of course I hear it.
So yeah, I definitely wanted to give mad props to Bear McCreary,
Yeah.
who did the soundtrack. It was phenomenal. The
Oh
music
yeah, I
was
like it just as
wonderful.
is
I
too.
liked
Yeah.
that he used the Japanese chanting, the prayer chants, as well as the more aggressive chanting from different types of sounds, which is great. And then he mixed it in with the original score with his own music as well. It was just great music for a movie. I know I wasn't thrilled with the Avengers Endgame soundtrack because it felt so recycled, but this brought a fresh spin to something that's just been in this franchise, and it paid homage in a great way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from what I know of it, yeah.
All right, what did you think of our human villain aspect storyline there?
Well, I like Tywin Lannister, so that was a plus.
Everyone likes Tywin
I mean,
Lannister.
so when I remembered he was in the movie as soon as he popped up, like, oh yeah, Tywin's in this. That's awesome. I didn't see the turn. I can't remember what her name is. It's been weeks since we've seen it, but I didn't expect her to be one of the bad guys.
No, it was kind of
It
an
was
interesting
yeah,
spin to use a lot of like concepts that we know nowadays. They use the Hollow Earth concept.
yeah,
They use the whole eco warriors aspect, which they exist. That's a
yeah,
thing, and it was kind of cool to see that they're using things that are very familiar in a unfamiliar setting with the giant monsters.
yeah. Yeah, I like that they set up. I mean, I like that they set up a lot of the lore, and they seemed like they had a lot of plans and ideas in motion here.
A lot of ideas.
Which who knows how much we'll get to see if this movie doesn't make enough money, but
No, they're gonna keep going. I think the overseas market on this one's gonna really pull
yeah,
it
it's
in.
been
It's gonna pull it
last out.
together.
It's like 3 or 4 times what domestically it's made, which is usually
Exactly.
not how it rolls. But
Well, Japanese love their Godzilla movies. They've always loved them, and
but
now
did,
there's a big budget blockbuster
did
that's
they love the one in the
showcasing.
'90s made by us
That's
Americans? Where
Nobody
Godzilla,
liked that one.
well, then
Nobody liked that one. Okay, Easter eggs. moving
Speaking
on.
of eggs,
Easter eggs.
that
There
Godzilla
were
laid eggs in
there were
Madison
a
Square
lot of
Garden.
Easter eggs that I really enjoyed in the movies. That a lot of things besides the score that harkened back. I mean, calling King Ghidorah or Ghidorah, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. Apparently, is the key. They called him Monster Zero, which was what he was called. They refer to him being from space, which is straight out of the old
I just call
Toei and
him
Heishi era Godzilla.
I just call him King G. It's easier.
Because you know you're not pronouncing it.
I'm not gonna get it right one way or the other.
Oh boy. I loved that the Easter egg with the two scientists, the twin girls
Oh,
coming
even
from a
I
series
noticed
of
that
twins.
one.
Of course.
Because that was my turn to like slap you on the arm and be
You're
like,
like, hey,
hey,
look,
hey,
the
hey.
twins. A lot of the different outposts for Monarch actually referenced the years different Godzilla movies came out, which was nice. There was just so much. I liked that they even harkened a lot back to their original movie and back to the Godzilla from 2014. That they listened to them with the orca. They using echolocation and sound waves, and I liked that aspect. I liked that they treated them as large predatory animals, that they weren't totally foreign, that you could examine them the same way animals are today.
Well, that's what I was saying. I like that the movie set up a lot of lore and a lot of world building, and it was almost like they had a plan for the entire franchise going ahead. Like,
If
they
you
just
don't
weren't
plan-
making it up as they go, like certain other franchises I know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway,
So what do you think of them building this monster verse?
no, I think it's great. I hope it succeeds. Like, again, I know it's not doing particularly well here in the U.S. I think it's doing much better overseas. I'm pretty sure Godzilla
Maybe
vs. King
Father's
Kong.
Day weekend will give it a boost.
I think Godzilla vs. King Kong is already in the works and
yeah.
greenlit, so I don't think, hopefully
If
that
they're bringing
is...
it out next year, they've probably already come a long
Yeah,
ways in it.
well, exactly. I mean, they can still
We'll be seeing a
cancel it.
trailer soon, is my guess.
Probably. I mean, I hope it succeeds. I love the idea. I mean, like I said, I'm not the hugest fan of the whole old Japanese movies. I've seen a lot of them just over my 40-some years of life, so I hope it succeeds, yeah.
Yeah. I think the cinematography in the movie needs to really get another applause. The imagery they set up, the beautiful scenes. I mean, you've got Rodan out of the volcano. Any scene with Mothra.
Don't get me started on Rodan. You know I had my issues with him.
Really?
Just turns heel and
We can get to
goes
him.
bad
We're
guy,
getting,
and
we're
then all
getting
of a
to
sudden
him
he's...
later.
Okay.
Okay?
I was mad at Rodan.
No, but I mean, the way they had Ghidorah's lightning coming down from the sky, shooting on the tips of his wings, any scene with Mothra in it, they were just beautiful scenes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Gorgeous to look at.
I think that's... I mean, really, the movie is a visual spectacle. It's...
It should be.
Yeah.
When you're working with something on that scale, it needs to be done in a way that really accentuates the look. Everything needs to be aesthetically on par.
Yeah, I thought it was. I had no problem visually, and like I said, the story was good enough.
Yeah, what do you think about the pacing of the story, though?
Wow, that's I actually have no thought on that because again, the movie is not your classic, focus on humans, focus on their stories kind of movie. So that's a difficult thing to answer.
I think it had a pretty good. I don't really remember sitting in the theater at any point thinking this is a
No,
slow
yeah.
part. They didn't. Things that would have been a slow part, they didn't focus on long enough for them to drag into the movie. They kept moving.
Well,
Everything, yeah.
I mean, even when they did, focus on the humans, it wasn't for hugely extended periods of time. There was always, there was always monsters coming back. That's So I guess the pacing was great. I have
think
no
so
problem
too.
with it.
I think so too. Okay, so what did you think of? Let's talk about the different monsters and how they looked, how they were in the movie. Yeah, this is where you're waiting on apparently to rag on Rodan. So let's start with him, seeing as he's the one you want to talk about. Rodan rises out of the volcano.
I don't know why, but I've always liked Rodan. He's one of the more memorable.
Is he a giant pterodactyl?
Probably, and as a kid, giant pterodactyls are cool. So it's been one of my favorites, and I was just disappointed that at first it seems like he was going to be a good guy, and then he sides with King G, and then at the end he's bowing before Godzilla. If I'm Godzilla, I don't know.
He's not a.
I don't know if he gets my forgiveness.
He's a beta monster.
And then he's battling with my queen Mothra. Like, I don't know. Yeah, he is. He's the beta kaiju or whatever they call it, Titan.
Titan.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that you said kaiju though.
Yes.
Yeah. Aesthetically though, I thought they handled his transition from giant pterodactyl, which is plain as you could be, to what he's looking like now with the ash and the fire.
Yeah, he looked awesome. Yeah,
the way he moved, the way they made him attack more like a bird of prey, like
or
when you
giant
see him.
Pterodactyl.
He didn't attack like that in the movies. I'm
kidding. No, he
revamped
yes.
that. I mean, the way that he would go after ships and he would bring his taloned feet forward to strike, just like you would see if you saw a hawk going after prey.
They did make them all based off animals. They weren't just giant creature monster
so
things.
So smart.
Yeah.
They made them move in a way that was natural looking to what the aesthetic of their creatures were, and I loved that. Let's talk about King Ghidorah.
King G. He looked awesome.
He did. The detail
just
work.
Huge, yeah. I mean, when you make Godzilla look small.
Exactly, when you make Godzilla look small.
I loved how the heads kind of...
The heads were independent. Not only, they weren't just three heads doing all the same thing. They moved independently. They seemed to have independent thoughts. They tried to help each other out.
Yeah. Which would be weird. I wonder which head kind of makes them move and...
Yeah, they all do. I don't know. It's a conglomerate effort there. They all work together. Okay, we did see Muto again.
Yeah,
another
briefly.
Female Muto.
Yeah,
briefly. Yeah,
they're fine.
They're fine. They're new. We saw a giant mammoth.
I liked the giant mammoth.
He was kind of
cool
was the
looking.
He looks a little mutated. Looked a little roughed up.
As soon as we got out of the theater, I'm trying to look him up. Like, who's this giant mammoth guy? Because I liked him. New, apparently.
New giant mammoth.
Which makes sense. We were talking about that. How you would have, if these are giant creatures from over the ages, you would have, you have King Kong, who is a giant primate, and you have a giant mammal, and you have giant spiders. So you have, for whatever reason, all the different, types of animals have mutated into these huge things. I thought that was cool. I'm
assuming the giant spider was supposed to be made after Kumongo.
Yeah.
It makes sense. He was the giant spider from back then. I mean, they didn't really name him, but I'm assuming that's who he is. Let's move on to Mothra, my favorite.
Yes.
Beautiful work with Mothra.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially the extending. I mean, they showed it in the trailer, but even when you see it in the theater, it looks even more fantastic.
Oh, yeah. She was gorgeous. They did reference her as the Queen of the Monsters, which I loved because, she is the Queen of the Monsters. She sacrificed herself for Godzilla to save him. She gave him a little peppy heel. That's what she does.
Peppy heel?
Mothra has always sacrificed herself, and then she's almost like a phoenix in these movies, because at the end in the credits you see, they found an egg, and that's Mothra. That's Mothra coming back again, because throughout the movies, every time Mothra something happens to her, she starts over as an egg in the larval phase and works her way back up. I like that they utilized her silk shooter, where she used him against King Ghidorah. She used him against some random guys in the cave in her larval form. She was beautiful. I liked how they changed her, so she wasn't just a giant moth. They gave her like mantis hooks. They made her a little more aggressive, a little more of a mix of insect. Any other thoughts you have on Mothra?
No, you covered that.
She's the best monster. The best.
I don't know. If Rodan wasn't such a bitch, maybe we'd have a... Sorry, there we go.
All right, we'll talk about Godzilla.
Oh, I love Godzilla. I love how pissed he looks all the time.
Godzilla has facial expression, which I love. You can tell when he was down in the cave. You can tell when he's just tired. He's exhausted.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I mean, he comes up there and he's getting ready to fight. The brow comes down. He looks angry.
Yeah.
He looks ready to fight. His intimidation display. I mean, all of his different facial expressions are really giving Godzilla personality.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no more to say. He has personality, and he's not just a giant monster. He's the king. He's the alpha.
He's the king, yeah.
He is the king of all the monsters.
I just, like I said, I loved his... Just that they gave him... I mean, the old ones, he was pretty much stuck in one goofy-looking face. Yeah. But here, like I said, he looked pissed. Like I said, he looked tired.
Yeah, he's got expressions.
Yeah. Which is key if you're going to try to make him into a type of character. You can't just have him... we understood that he was the protector. He was
the protector of humans. He just wanted to be he's the alpha, and then they're all heading to Skull Island. We'll see how that goes. Another thing I found interesting from the movie, and I probably could have mentioned this earlier, they were using the orca to make sounds in order to try and subdue the monsters. We know that when King Ghidorah used he's yelling, he's calling, he's roaring, other monsters like Rodan stayed away because he is announcing himself as the alpha. Same with Godzilla. Godzilla's roaring, he's angry, he's announcing himself as an alpha predator. Now, the orca made a different sound, And by the end of the movie, they figured out that they were taking these alpha sounds and mixing them in with another creature, human. They were trying to project that human is a current alpha predator on the planet, which I thought was really clever because, of course, as humans, we would think we were. So that's one of the reasons why Mothra kind of settled down with it. She was listening to an alpha's call and she kind of respected it. Then, when King Ghidorah heard that sound, he got angry, and every time he heard it, he went after humans. He went after where he heard the sound coming from, and he went after humans. He attacked them. Because he would attack another alpha predator. I thought that was a clever way of kind of, humans throwing their shoe in the hat for alpha predator of the planet.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was kind of a smart move, which the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. Alright, so we're going to wrap this up. We have our score from 1 to 10. Let's start with Thor.
9. Solid 9, yeah.
I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Ooh.
Because I don't know if anything could ever deserve a 10. It's hard shoe to fit, but a 9.5. That's what I'm going to give it because they did such a good job incorporating the old Godzilla eras into the present and making it relevant for newer audiences.
Well, yeah, as a more casual Godzilla or MonsterVerse type fan, I just enjoyed what it was. I thought it was fantastic.
Fantastic. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the review of Godzilla King of the Monsters. Yep, it was a review. Why don't you say anything when I look at you?
I don't know.
Ugh. Alright, so if you like this movie, feel free to subscribe. There's usually meme reviews going up on this channel. There's also, of course, his and hers movie reviews. Hopefully some more content will be coming. Enjoy.
Bye.